The five-fingered prayer is a prayer that's based on the five fingers. When we look at the five fingers, it reminds us of things we should pray for. All right, so the first finger, the thumb. If you look at the thumb, now I'm not trying to offend anyone. This is supposed to be a good symbol. In America, anyway, in America, the thumbs up is a good symbol. It means good job in America. But now anyway, what does the first finger represent? What should we think of when we think of the first finger when we pray? All right, the first finger reminds us, as we look at it, we can see that the first finger is the one that's closest to us. As I make a thumbs up, the first finger will be the one that is closest to me. And when I see that, it should remind me to pray for those that are close. They should remind you to pray for the people that are closest to you, the people that are on your mind, the people who you are thinking about at that particular time. The thing that's on your mind the most, the thing that's closest to you, is what the thumb represents. So when you see the thumb, when you pray, remember to pray for those who are close to you, the people who are on your mind. Because to pray for our loved ones is our sweet duty as Christians. Now, the second finger. What is so important about the second finger? The second finger is important because it is a finger known as the pointing finger. It is the finger that points. It should remind us to pray for those people in our lives who, in our society, that instruct and heal. This would include school teachers, Bible class teachers, fellow Christians, police officers, whatever, anyone who instructs or heals should be remembered as we see the second finger, and we must always keep these people in our prayers in order to keep our society functioning properly. And number three, the third finger is the longest finger on your hand. It is known as the long finger, the middle finger. What should we remember when we see the middle finger when we pray? The middle finger is important to us when we pray because it should remind us, and since it is the tallest finger, it should remind us to pray for our leaders, the people who lead our world. This would include, of course, elders, deacons, and preachers. And we must not forget to pray for their wives as well. There is so much that these elders, preachers, and deacons' wives do for the church, and so many people forget to pray for them. They are in a position of leadership because of where their husband serves in the church. So they are people of influence, and we should always remember them in our prayers. They are a type of leader, and we should remember them. Also, when we see the middle finger, the tallest finger, the long finger, whatever you want to call it, when we see that finger when we pray, we should also remember people who run our country, like the president, business leaders, and people like that. Because these people help shape public opinion, and they need our support, especially in prayer. And so what's next? The next finger is the fourth finger. The fourth finger is important to our prayer lives because I don't know if you've ever talked to a music teacher, a piano teacher, but any piano teacher, music teacher, can usually testify that with most people, the fourth finger is the weakest finger of the hand. It's the one that is weakest. So when we see the fourth finger, we should remember to pray for those who are weak, those who are in pain, those who are going through troubles in their lives. That would be the fourth finger. Because we cannot pray enough for these people. All right. So now, we get to the last finger. the little finger, the pinky. What should the pinky remind us to pray for? Well, we've come to the pinky last for a reason. It's because when we see the pinky, we should remember our place as Christians. And that is that we put others, the other four groups, before ourselves. We pray for ourselves last. Because once we have prayed for the other four groups, it will remind us of our real needs, what we really need compared to what we want. And that will enable us to say a much more effective prayer by praying for ourselves last. Because during the other four groups, as we pray for them, we will be reminded of how much we have and what we really need to be praying for ourselves. Instead of praying for ourselves first, we need to pray for ourselves last so that we can say a more effective prayer. So, first finger, people closest to you. Second finger, those teachers, the pointing finger, the ones that instruct and heal. The third finger, our leaders, elders, deacons, preachers and all of their wives, president, whatever. And then the fourth finger is to remind us to pray for those people who are weak and need our prayers. Weak, suffering, pain, and trouble. And then the last finger is to pray for ourselves, because once we've prayed for the other four groups, we will know how to pray for ourselves more effectively.